Every day in class, Mu Feng cannot stop teasing his deskmate, the absolute school beauty. He is always playfully touching her shoulder straps, even using her white stockinged legs as a cozy pillow to fall fast asleep. But she never gets mad, even shyly propping up her textbook to shield them. Talk about top-tier female lead energy. She creates a perfect shield for their secret flirting, and when the guys around them caught on, they completely lost it. They were absolutely crying in jealousy right when their homeroom teacher, Lao Xu, slammed the classroom door open. Chu Weiwei instantly panics, desperately poking the back of his hand to get him to wake up. But Mu Feng is just drifting deeper and deeper into dreamland, with a warm ray of morning sunlight hitting his face. Sprawled out comfortably on his desk, he simply rolls over to find a much better sleeping position. Right at that moment, a super soft and sweet voice starts pleading for him to wake up. "Please wake up, you are lying on my hair," Chu Weiwei whispers with a cute little pout. She looks so hurt and aggrieved, but she is way too shy to actually yell at him. Since her hair is trapped tightly under him, she cannot even move, and class is literally starting right now. To make matters worse, it is their strict homeroom teachers period. What is she supposed to do? Panicking, she grabs her thick textbook and props it up wide, desperately trying to block both of their heads from view. Honestly, hiding behind the book like this makes things look even more intimate. The author really cooked here. Right now, Chu Weiwei is trying to slowly and gently slide her long hair out from under his head. But Mu Feng is resting on it way too heavy, leaving her whispering in pure desperation. Yet he is still sleeping like a total rock, and she is starting to low-key lose her mind. She cannot even yell because she is terrified of waking him up angry. So she resorts to poking his fingers a bit harder to get some sort of reaction. But right then, Lao Xu steps onto the classroom podium with the absolute worst, darkest look on his face. He announces that their recent monthly exam scores were incredibly disappointing, like absolutely terrible. "I need to call out some students specifically," he says, raising his eyes to scan the room. His angry gaze instantly locks onto Mu Feng and Chu Weiwei, catching them squirming and shifting around suspiciously behind that giant textbook. It literally looks like they are secretly flirting back there, and seeing this makes the teacher completely lose his cool. Lao Xu feels this massive wave of dread, thinking, "Oh great, my star student is getting corrupted by this slacker." He slams his lesson plans onto the podium and loudly roars out Mu Feng's name. "What do you think you are doing?" he demands, and the loud voice finally jars Mu Feng awake. He opens his eyes groggily, his nose twitching as he catches a sweet scent in the air. It is this incredible mix of fresh jasmine and a light, milky sweetness right next to him. It is absolutely heavenly, so he just keeps greedily breathing it in while waking up. He slowly blinks his eyes open, and what he sees next is beautiful. Right in front of him is a pair of gorgeous, teary eyes staring right back at him. Her long eyelashes are literally glistening with tiny tears, and her glossy pink lips are pulled into a sad pout. Her entire face screams total frustration, while up on the podium, Lao Xu is absolutely about to blow a fuse. He yells at him for setting a terrible example, especially since he is supposed to be the class president. Pointing out how his grades have completely tanked lately, the teacher is practically losing his mind. Trying to keep his composure in front of the class, he clears his throat loudly and calls his name. "Pay attention and keep your head up during my lecture," the teacher warns. He tells Mu Feng that they will definitely be having a serious talk in his office after class. Hearing the teacher and realizing the entire class is staring right at them, Chu Weiwei is mortified. Since she is usually so quiet and hates attention, she is literally on the verge of tears. She pouts in frustration but is too shy to speak up, while Mu Feng asks what just happened. He looks totally confused, and she whispers back that he is still lying directly on her hair. She begs him to move because their teacher is absolutely about to lose it. "Can you please get up?" She doesn't even know why. Honestly, who wouldn't melt if a sweet, adorable girl came up and said something like that? "You're leaning on my hair," she whispers. Peak romance right here. He looks up at her gorgeous face and literally screams in his head. What was he doing for 3 years of high school to sleep on a girl like this? And even had to wait for her to confess. He finally releases her hair. She lowers her textbook, but this absolute madman is still staring right at her. Staring like he can never get enough, completely ignoring the entire class watching. Even the homeroom teacher is glaring at them, eyes narrowed. She gets super embarrassed, her face blushing to her neck. She reaches out a pale finger, gently poking his arm. She whispers that everyone is watching, but he just stares at her cute face. And totally out of nowhere, he plants a kiss right on her forehead. The smack is so incredibly loud that the entire classroom falls dead silent. Everyone widens their eyes, staring straight at them. Classmates are completely stunned, their jaws dropping in absolute shock. Suddenly, she lets out a tiny squeak, finding some hidden strength. She shoves his chest away and she completely buries her head in her arms, leaving only her cute, blushing ears visible. Old Xu is absolutely furious, yelling at the class for causing a scene right in front of them. Slam! Old Xu violently smacks his lesson plan onto the podium. Chu Weiwei slowly raises her head, peeking at the MC through the gap in her arms. She never expected a kiss in front of the whole class. Their eyes lock. In a flash, her blush rushes all the way to her ears. She mutters that he's a bully. Another loud kiss. RMC cups her face and plants another kiss. Talk about bold moves, guys. He teasingly points out that she pushed him, so he gets to kiss her twice to be even. He jokes her push sent him flying 3 meters, leaving him badly hurt. He even offers to let her kiss him back if she still thinks it's unfair. Her face turns absolutely crimson. She pouts, nearly crying and complaining that he's bullying her again. She buries her face. At this point, the entire class is losing their minds, and honestly, same. Everyone gasps. But old Xu literally jumps in rage, screaming at them to shut up. Chu Weiwei shrinks back, her shoulders trembling slightly. Tears of grievance well up in her eyes, ready to spill. Chu Weiwei has no idea why Mu Feng keeps teasing her. Is she really that much of a pushover? She has a temper, too. She is no easy target. He lets her go, but Chu Weiwei still stands there looking super aggrieved. Tears are literally on the verge of spilling when he whispers for her to hold them back. And like a flash, she quickly swipes those tears away with the back of her hand. She quickly sucks her tears back in and pretends to read her book, acting like absolutely nothing happened. Honestly, it is all the homeroom teacher's fault for yelling. Bro, what? Has he never seen young love before? Why did he have to jump up screaming? Thinking about this, Mu Feng rolls his eyes at old Xu when suddenly, bam! Old Xu slams his lesson plan on the podium again, yelling for everyone to shut up. Today, they are going over the test papers, and Mu Feng needs to see him after class. The bell rings, finally. Old Xu grabs his notes, gives Mu Feng a deadly glare, and slams the door on his way out. But getting glared at by the teacher just makes Mu Feng grin as he leans back. He casually props himself against the back desk and shrugs his shoulders. Meanwhile, Chu Weiwei takes the chance to slip outside for some much-needed fresh air. Before Mu Feng even steps into the office, he hears old Xu complaining about him to a colleague. The teacher is groaning about how these students are worrying him to death. There are only 6 months left before the biggest college entrance exam of their lives. Yet someone is still trying to date. Of all people, Mu Feng chose to chase Chu Weiwei. The Chinese teacher freezes. Seriously, it is totally absurd. That poor girl has no parents left and has to rely entirely on herself. Getting distracted at a crucial time like this is crazy, so she needs to reject him immediately. Old Xu helplessly sighs. He dejectedly admits that he was actually the one who made them deskmates in the first place. He just wanted someone to look out for and help take care of the girl. The Chinese teacher is speechless, pointing out he basically shot himself in the foot. Thinking about this makes old Xu start grumbling, wondering where on earth Mu Feng is. Standing outside, Mu Feng rubs his nose before knocking on the office door. He walks inside, only to find his homeroom teacher glaring with raised eyebrows. Talk about final boss energy. But before old Xu can even start yelling, Mu Feng boldly speaks up first. He barks that his grades dropped to 300th, yet he has the nerve to date? He's ranked 300th, while Chu Weiwei is ranked 30th in the grade. Mu Feng slams his fist on old Xu's desk, asking if he needs a mirror? He shouts about how they only have 6 months left. Honestly, how is that okay? Old Xu is completely speechless, looking like the kid just took the words right out of his mouth. He stammers, asking how Mu Feng knew exactly what he was going to say. Total face twitch moment. Old Xu grabs a cigarette. Mu Feng smoothly grabs the lighter from the desk and lights it for him. After taking a puff, the teacher finally cools his temper down. He admits the kid is smart, despite his pretty trash grades. He wishes Mu Feng focused on studying, but the kid claims they are totally in love. He swears they have pledged their lives. He won't marry anyone else, and if the teacher tries to tear them apart, he will write a suicide note. Right after, Mu Feng makes a feminine orchid gesture. He pokes the teacher's arm with a seductive, playful look on his face. Imagine a 6'2" dude staring the teacher down with bedroom eyes. While poking his arm with a dainty finger and whining, Lao Xu shudders. Goosebumps explode everywhere. Mu Feng threatens to literally end it all if they get separated, still poking away. Lao Xu completely breaks, begging him to stop and promising to give him a shot. This guy is a certified actor, instantly swapping the sassy finger for a heroic smile, acting like nothing even happened. Meanwhile, Lao Xu just shrinks back in sheer terror. He wonders how he raised such a monster. Mu Feng locks in with a dead serious face, admitting he liked Chu Weiwei for ages. He knows she comes from a tough background and struggles. The main worry is just their grades dropping. But he guarantees that being together won't drag their performance down at all. This completely stuns Lao Xu. He never expected the kid to make such a mature move before he could even lecture him. The teacher honestly expected excuses. Maybe claiming he was just impulsive or blaming it on young love. Truth is, he doesn't hate romance. He just hates seeing kids ruin their futures over cheap, temporary distractions. So he asks how exactly Mu Feng plans to back up his words. Mu Feng's gaze turns incredibly deep, asking if the man believes in pure love. Talk about a critical hit. Lao Xi insists his generation only knew pure love. Anything else is garbage. Now watch, Mu Feng smiles mysteriously. He wants the teacher to announce a special condition to the whole class. If he and Chu Weiwei do not make the top 10 in the next finals, their seats get split up. No shot! Lao Xu completely loses it, cursing out loud that it is totally impossible. Waving his hands, insisting there is zero chance. Our boy is built different. He raises a single finger to silence his teacher. It is a deal. If they fail, the teacher can punish them however he wants. But if they win, they stay together. Lao Xu actually tries to soften the deal, suggesting top 50 instead. He covers his mouth, looking secretly pleased, acting all dramatic and reluctant until Mu Feng finally walks out. Alone now, the old teacher lights a cigarette, grinning like crazy. Wrinkles squeezing together like a flower. By the time Mu Feng gets back to class, the next lecture has already started. He calls out from the doorway. Over in the corner, Chu Weiwei perks up. But the second their eyes meet, she quickly averts her gaze.
Mrs. Shi adjusts her glasses,
pointing out that way too many students completely flunked the essay portion. The Chinese teacher is looking over their essays, complaining about how dry their writing is. He roasts them for just writing that the sun went down instead of using some poetic flow. He drops a poetic line just to flex. Honestly, the teacher's up there just living in his own world, completely flexing. But then he catches Mu Feng out of the corner of his eye, resting his chin on his hand. He has this cheeky smirk, staring straight at the adorable Chu Weiwei. Some girls are just impossible to look away from, but Mu Feng finally notices the teacher staring. She tries hiding, but he nudges her. He whispers to her, "Hey, we should name our future kid Mu Weiwei." He just blurts it out with a smile, making Chu Weiwei snap her head up in complete shock. Her big eyes blink at him, and the next second, her face literally turns beet red. Where did a kid even come from? She panics internally, wondering if that name literally means Mu Feng loves Weiwei. Going straight to having babies is wild. She is not prepared for this at all. He kissed her during the first period, and now he already has names picked out? Chu Weiwei's hands are shaking as she nervously grips the edge of her school uniform. She buries her face. Shrinking into her corner, she listens to Mu Feng whisper that he meant a future kid. He tells her there is no need to worry. Hearing that, the poor girl face down on the desk finally lets out a sigh of relief. Her tight grip on her uniform relaxes, but then she realizes something. Wait, that is not the main issue here. Why is she even having his kids anyway? Is she really that easy to tease? This is pure bullying. She glares up at him, looking like an absolute adorable victim. She mutters that she won't do it, her voice soft but carrying a tiny pout. Mu Feng just chuckles and says of course she can't do it alone. With a totally shameless smirk, he tells her he will help her with that later. She stammers that she does not know how. Blushing so hard, she desperately tries to defend her innocence. He just smiles, promising to teach her everything she needs to know. Acting like a helpful citizen, he completely enjoys her reaction.
This guy is literally playing with words. Help how? Teach what?
Honestly, the more she thinks about it, the more she realizes she is getting completely played.
She accuses him of being a bully, stammering out her words while her face burns.
Burying her head back into her arms, she leaves only her bright red ears exposed to the world. Meanwhile, the teacher's sharp eyes are locked right onto Mu Feng. Even though he could not hear their whispering from the front, the teacher is an experienced adult.
He knows exactly what is going on. Mu Feng is definitely flirting during class.
So the teacher calls him out. Since classmate Mu Feng seems so confident, he gets picked to answer the very next question. The teacher challenges him to translate the phrase, "I miss you," into a classic poem. Under the watchful eyes of the entire class, Mu Feng calmly reaches over and ruffles her soft hair. He points out the window toward the massive white magnolia tree in the courtyard. There are 3 soft clouds in the blue sky, slowly forming the perfect shape of a white flower. The sky is blue and our path ahead is beautiful. To me, everyone else is just grass and trees, but you are my green mountain. The rivers are vast and the world is a galaxy. None of it is you, yet everything is somehow you. A sudden joy at first sight and still a pounding heart. Honestly, this was so corny the Chinese teacher slammed the door and stormed out. Flirting in the middle of class is bold, she definitely warned him. She promised not to cause trouble if he answered, but that did not mean others would let him slide. That was none of her business, and honestly, Miss Shi was playing dirty here. She immediately snitched to the homeroom teacher, but the second she left the room, Mu Feng slid right over to Chu Weiwei, calling out her name with a grin. Do you know why I had to say those extremely cheesy lines to you? Chu Weiwei gave him a quick, shy look before lowering her head. She shook her head, murmuring that she had no idea, while he let out a dramatic, concerned sigh. See, I did that for your own good, because those lines are classic tricks used by absolute players. They use them to trick innocent girls like you, and these guys absolutely live for sweet-talking their way into your head. It is all a trap to fool girls, and Chu Weiwei just blinked, trying to process his logic. Mu Feng pressed on. If you had never heard this kind of smooth talking before, would you not easily fall for a player's tricks? Honestly, how does she actually buy this? But his logic is somehow working. By saying it first, I basically gave you a vaccine against all those sweet-talking players out there. The next time some guy tries these smooth tricks on you, you will see right through him in a heartbeat. Chu Weiwei kept nodding her head, completely convinced by his insanely smooth and hilarious brainwashing. He just grinned. He put on a righteous act, warning her about how real players operate. They love using cheesy sweet talk to make girls happy, just to make their move when your guard is down. He told her to be extremely careful around those guys, but Chu Weiwei suddenly pouted, looking incredibly adorable and a little hurt. She whispered that she believed him, but there was one small issue. Could he please take his hand off her shoulder first, while over in Mr. Shu's office, things were heating up. The homeroom teacher, Mr. Shu, was happily sipping his warm tea with a look of pure satisfaction. That was until Miss C burst into the office, absolutely fuming and ready to snitch. She scolded him for relaxing when the most important student in his class was causing chaos. He was actively trying to start a romance in class, and that kid, Mu Feng, was the culprit. He was literally flirting with Chu Weiwei in front of the entire class during her lesson. This guy is a walking cheat code when it comes to sweet talking. Mr. Su told her not to worry, saying he was already well aware of their situation. His face turned incredibly dark as he prepared to lay down the law. He wanted drama. If those two did not make the top 10 in the finals, he would absolutely split them up. He was determined to break them apart and ban any kind of high school romance. Seeing his incredibly intense reaction, even Miss Shi felt a sudden wave of genuine hesitation. Her voice softened as she suggested that maybe he did not need to be quite so harsh, despite the obvious distractions. As long as their grades remained solid, the teachers could easily just turn a blind eye. After all, they were once students too, but demanding both of them to reach the top 10 was wild. Chu Weiwei might pull it off, but Mu Feng stood absolutely zero chance. Honestly, you might as well tell him to pray at a temple because that is literally impossible. Sure, Mu Feng has the looks and the talent, but his grades are completely in the gutter.
He is literally ranked over 300th in the grade, and you want him to hit the top 10? It is honestly hilarious, and Zhu can only smirk with a crooked grin at the sheer absurdity.
Playing the tough guy, the teacher does not say another word and heads out to make the announcement. He thinks it is high time to crush this dating trend, since college exams are right around the corner. Daring to date without even being in the top 10? Absolutely dreaming. Shishu Chin is panicking because if those kids find out she ruined their relationship, she is completely done for. They will literally hate her for life, so she begs Teacher Shu not to break them up. As long as his grades do not drop, that should honestly be more than enough. Forcing him into the top 10 is way too much, but Shu just waves his hand and dismisses her. Not looking back. He tells the Chinese teacher he will play the bad guy, leaving the office.
Immediately, his expression flips into a devious, scheming grin.
I was just wondering how to find an excuse, and now the perfect scapegoat has walked right in. Chinese teacher, you are literally my lucky star, Shu thinks, as his eyes narrow into tiny slits. Fox smile on his face, he hums down the hall. Feeling cheerful? He pushes the door open with a stone-cold face. His gaze instantly locks right onto them. Yup, just as expected, Mu Feng is leaning in super close. He plays dumb, asking student Chu Weiwei how to solve a question because he is totally clueless. When he begs her to teach him, she agrees, but asks if he can stop leaning so close. Hold my hand and teach me, he begs. Asking her to guide his hand makes Chu Weiwei's cheeks instantly flush with a deep, embarrassed red.
She slowly reaches her hand out, only to pull it back in a sudden reflex.
With the blush spreading all the way down to her neck, she softly calls out Mu Feng's name. In a sweet, gentle voice, she reminds him that boys and girls should not get too intimate. Her voice is clear and gentle. But let's be real, he actually knows. He smiles and says it is fine since they have been desk mates for over 2 years now. He teases her, saying he won't mind if she takes advantage of him, then reaches for her hand. Demanding that she guide his writing, but watching this whole drama unfold? The teacher can no longer hold it in and lets out a massive warning cough at the doorway. He warns the kid to tone it down and show some restraint in the classroom. Yes, he seriously needs to chill, and then Shu calls out for student Chu Weiwei. Hearing her name shouted loudly by the teacher, Chu Weiwei quickly stands up, looking incredibly flustered and out of place. With a stiff, serious expression, Zhu tells her that considering her top-tier grades, he plans to change her seat, asking if she has any objections to the move. As he says this, Shu raises an eyebrow in a very self-satisfied way. Honestly, Chu Weiwei has always been the ultimate straight-A student of the class. She is super quiet. This is why Shu smirks so smugly, shooting Mu Feng a highly victorious look.
He basically tells him to stop scheming to steal the most innocent girl as his future wife.
Like it is ever that easy. He was definitely panicking inside. Right when the teacher says no objections means we are good, a soft voice suddenly cuts in. Old Shu freezes, convinced his ears are playing tricks on him. Hearing her speak up is so unusual that he assumes it is just a hallucination. Old Shu clutches his chest, looking completely defeated by her sudden rebellion. There is no shot Chu Weiwei is doing this. He cannot believe she is defying him for Mu Feng, especially after he literally asked if she was fine. But she softly repeats that she actually does have a major objection. Her tone is gentle but firm, forcing the teacher to ask if she refuses to change seats. Chu Weiwei keeps her head down, clutching her school uniform in pure anxiety. She sneaks a worried look at Mu Feng, her face practically screaming nervous energy. Old Shu panics because she usually never goes against his word.
Seeing her sudden rebellion now makes Old Shu's face instantly go completely dark. He glares heavily at Mu Feng before demanding to know if she still wants to sit with him. Mu Feng tilts his head, blinking his eyes desperately to get her attention. He is throwing her wild signals, basically begging her with his eyes to just back down. In the teacher's eyes, Mu Feng is just a troublemaker who always takes cheap shots at her. If she keeps staying near him, she is bound to get dragged into major trouble eventually. He just wants her to stay focused and survive until graduation. But get this, Mu Feng means the world to her because of a past incident involving Wang Shishi. That was the day Wang Shishi completely humiliated the poor girl. Back then, Wang Shishi walked into the classroom carrying a massive basket of exotic mangosteens. She offered them to everyone, handing the very first piece straight to Chu Weiwei. Since Chu Weiwei grew up poor, she had never seen this fruit and had no clue how to eat it. With the entire class watching, she simply wiped the fruit on her sleeve. She bit straight into the bitter skin, and an awful taste instantly hit her. The dark purple juice stained her mouth, leaving her looking absolutely ridiculous in front of everyone. The entire classroom instantly erupted into nasty laughter, pointing and mocking her endlessly. They jeered at her, asking how she could be so dumb to bite the black skin directly. Others joked that these are cheap, asking if anyone is actually that poor. Wang Shishi put on a fake apology, claiming she had no idea it was her first time trying them. She bragged that her wealthy family buys whole boxes of them. Laughing hysterically, she admitted she just could not hold it in when she bit the skin. She patronizingly hoped she would not hold a grudge, while the rest of the class kept laughing. Chu Weiwei desperately wiped her stained mouth, bowing her head to apologize to the entire room. She softly apologized, admitting she had never tried them because 30 yuan was way too expensive. Shrinking back into her dark corner, she did not even dare to look anyone in the eye. She was already deeply insecure and had barely seen the world. Having never tasted expensive food, 30 yuan fruit was something she could never afford to think about. Her daily breakfast was only 1 yuan, and her regular meals cost just 4. Back in 2009, 30 yuan was literally 6 days of living expenses for her. All she wanted was to apologize and shrink into the corner to completely disappear. Keeping her head completely down, she just wanted to become totally invisible. But the sadness was too heavy, especially after being turned into the class laughingstock. She sat crying silently in her corner right when Mu Feng walked into the room. Right at that exact moment, Mu Feng spots everyone laughing at Chu Weiwei. An angry fire flares up inside him. Seriously, some people really love showing off over nothing. Acting superior over a simple mangosteen is crazy, so Mu Feng walks straight up to Chu Weiwei. He gives a cold smirk, like it is literally just a mangosteen. But from how they talk, you would think it was some legendary immortal fruit from the heavens. There is absolutely nothing to brag about. Seeing him walk back, Wang Shishi instantly acts. She plays the victim, switching to a fake sweet voice to tell Chu Weiwei she is so sorry. Claiming she had no idea Weiwei had never eaten one, she offers to show her how. Before Shishi can even finish, Mu Feng picks up the mangosteen Chu Weiwei was struggling with. He peels it like an absolute pro, exposing the white fruit and holding it right to her lips. His eyes soften. His voice drops low. When Weiwei looks up, her eyes are already swimming with tears. Honestly, it is so heartbreaking to see. Drops cling to her long eyelashes. Just one single blink and those tears are going to spill over. She tries so hard to stay strong, shaking her head to whisper that she is totally fine. But the moment the words leave her mouth, her tears quietly overflow and run down her cheeks. Seeing her cry like that hits Mu Feng right in the chest, giving him a sudden sharp ache. He tells her to just try it or she will miss out, but Weiwei still tries to refuse him. When he gently tells her to be good, she finally loses all her defenses and cannot say no. She obediently opens her mouth so he can feed her, the sweet snow-white fruit melting instantly. While everyone else was busy laughing, Mu Feng stepped up to save her dignity. He is literally him. Look, Weiwei grew up in a mountain village, so never having a mangosteen is completely normal. Even though supermarkets are packed with them, these imported fruits are always incredibly pricey. They are always put right at the front, but you would never even dream of spending money on them. Since she is naturally super shy and soft-spoken, she kept her struggles to herself. That is why when Shishi handed her the fruit, she was too embarrassed to ask how to peel it. But wait, there is more. Teacher Su actually found out about another incident. Back when some thugs from another school tried to bully Weiwei, Mu Feng shielded her from the trouble. Back in the present, Teacher Shu is absolutely fuming. Just then, a clear, defiant voice rings out.
I want to, Weiwei says. Hearing this, Mu Feng grins, his eyes flashing with pride. Teacher Han, I want to as well, he adds boldly. Teacher Shu shoots him an absolute death glare. He snaps at them, asking if they are literally trying to confess to each other right now. And just like that, the classroom vibe completely flips. Every single student locks eyes, and suddenly they all throw their hands up in the air. The whole room starts chanting for them to get together. Honestly, the hype is real. Weiwei blushes a deep crimson, completely unable to lift her head from sheer embarrassment. But refusing to change seats is her ultimate line in the sand. The teacher is being totally unfair. Her cheeks puff up in protest as she quietly balls her little hands into tiny fists. She is determined not to let them move her, showing off her rare, rebellious side. Teacher Shu is losing his mind. Literally nobody in his class has ever dared to defy him like this. He pulls her aside, asking when she learned to pull this stunt after he literally kept giving her warning looks. The teacher admits he knows she likes Mu Feng and was trying to buy her time. But if she acts like this, she won't even make it to graduation before Mu Feng takes her home. Ordering everyone to stop messing around, Teacher Shu glares at Mu Feng, complaining that the Chinese teacher came to him. Apparently they were caught dating in class, and the teacher is completely done with it. He reminds them both that high school is the starting line of life, and the college entrance exam is everything. Your whole future is on the line, with the Gaokao only 6 months away. This is a critical period, and I hope you all focus your energy entirely on studying. Absolutely no distractions, and especially no dating. Just think about your parents and the endless hardships they face to get you here. They deserve a bright future, which you can only get by entering a good college. College is packed with gorgeous people from all over, giving you endless opportunities to date. You can enjoy 4 years of freedom, but since Mu Feng led this dating trend with quite an impact, I have to hand out a punishment, making Chu Weiwei tense up instantly. Confused and totally innocent, she wonders if Mu Feng is actually dating her. He literally kissed her on the forehead back then, which was honestly a bit too wild and over the line. Does that even count? Maybe he does like her, or why else would he kiss her? He even talked about having babies and naming their future daughter Mo Su. But what if it is a boy? Chu Weiwei blushes completely red, pinching her fingers to show a tiny gap. Eyelashes fluttering, total panic. She sneaks a nervous side glance, her face written with deep hesitation. Old Shu falls silent, then continues. Initially, I agreed with the literature teacher to let you two sit together as partners. Since you both refuse, my decision is final. Since there is a high risk of puppy love between Mu Feng and Chu Weiwei, unless you both make the top 10 in the next finals, Chu Weiwei will be sent to the very front row, and Mu Feng will be banished to the back row. Mu Feng, tone it down! Getting caught by discipline officers would mean a school-wide warning, not just a seat change. Mu Feng just flashes an OK sign. Honestly, the classmates think this challenge is pretty brutal. But Mu Feng accepting it so easily is wild, and old Shi finally leaves. Strict and imposing, he walks away. The classroom instantly explodes because reaching the top 10 is a literal nightmare. In this school, the top 10 requires at least 680 points, which is pure hell mode. Even though Chu Weiwei is a top-tier student, she is currently only ranked 30th. And time is running out fast. Can she really pull off a massive score boost? And what about the class monitor? He ranked exactly 300th in the last monthly exam, which is totally average. Getting top 10 is basically impossible, but we all know he is built different, right? How does he have the guts to agree to this? Chu Weiwei clenches her hands tight. She feels the heavy pressure, especially since her part-time work leaves little study time. What can he even do? She gazes at him, her beautiful eyes filled with shy worry. He just shrugs casually. Smiling, he asks why everyone is so worried about his grades. He has got a secret weapon. The moment he says this, everyone locks eyes on Mu Feng with pure confusion. But Mu Feng just smirks and suddenly grabs Chu Weiwei by the arm. He literally clings to her like a baby, whining for her to help him, saying she has to tutor him step by step so he can become a genius. Chu Weiwei instantly blushes crimson, totally aware of the crowd watching them. She is so embarrassed she wants the ground to swallow her whole. She frantically pleads with him to let her go. If she does not agree, Mu Feng threatens to throw a dramatic tantrum right there. He acts all cute and whiny, which is honestly hilarious and kind of chaotic. Chu Weiwei's face is burning up as she desperately looks around. Realizing everyone is staring, she completely folds under the pressure. She finally yields and agrees, so he lets go with a smug smirk.
He acts like nothing happened as they transition into the final self-study period.
Mu Feng locks in, quietly listening to Chu Weiwei break down the lesson points. Okay, so plot twist, our guy is actually a 30-year-old regressed soul. High school math and science totally wiped from his brain long ago. Time to cram or he is doomed. She asks him if he really forgot everything from their first year. And wait, did he forget the second semester of year 1 too? Even the core concepts from their second year are totally gone. She is shocked he threw all of high school out of his head. Honestly, go ask any 30-year-old on the street how much they actually remember. He just has the same memory lapse as every other adult when the bell finally rings. Chu Weiwei immediately jumps up and rushes toward the cafeteria. By the time Mu Feng gets there, she is already wearing her work apron. She has her mask and cap on, standing at the back counter. Watching her busily serve food to students makes Mu Feng's heart ache. Seeing this honestly hurts. Instead of being pampered at her age, she is out here working hard for meals. Senior year is already stressful enough with a massive study load. While other students get to sit down and relax after class, she has to work. She watches them eat while she serves, but she never once complains. This sweet girl actually considers herself incredibly lucky. Landing a job on campus saves her from traveling off-site. Finding work elsewhere would waste way too much precious study time. That is why she always serves food with a bright, warm smile. Even behind her mask, her beautiful crescent eyes shine with pure joy. Mu Feng grabs a random seat without getting any food himself. He just quietly watches her until two girls walk up to his table. It is Wang Shishi, but Mu Feng is too distracted to notice. He does not even realize she has sat down next to him, greeting him warmly. She asks if she can sit here, and his old memories spark. He still remembers her clearly from their first year of high school. Wang Shishi was the undisputed class beauty, gorgeous and top of her class. Standing at 170 centimeters, she always wore cute skirts and high socks. Mu Feng actually had a minor crush on her in his past life at graduation. All the guys hyped her. Like 80% of them simped for Wang Shishi while her bestie stood nearby. Her name was Song Wawa, short but honestly pretty decent looking. He remembered their future. They both married rich older men over 20 years their senior just for money. Honestly, who could blame him for wanting to avoid girls like that? But right then, he casually told a classmate he was waiting. He said he was waiting for his wife, and Wang Shishi heard it perfectly. They assumed he meant her. Wang Shishi sat next to him while Song Huahua muttered about his nonsense. She called him thick-skinned. Song Huahua gave him a massive side-eye since she already knew Mu Feng. She knew he wanted to chase her friend and wanted to trash-talk him. Wang Shishi stopped her. Hearing him call her his wife made her heart skip a beat. She had countless simps, but Mu Feng was the only one ignoring her. Our girl got worried. But hearing him loudly claim he was waiting for his girl changed everything. That single word, wife, gave her an incredibly strange feeling. Disappointment turned into pure joy. She thought he was playing mind games by ignoring her for so long. Making her worry like crazy just to play hard to get. He wanted her attention. Mu Feng just glanced at Wang Shishi and said absolutely nothing. His eyes were still locked on Chu Weiwei serving food to students. He felt nothing. Wasting even a second of his new life was out of the question. She was completely worthless. Wang Shishi gritted her teeth because he clearly liked her but played cool.
Was he really going to make her take the initiative?
She decided to act.
Admitting his routine worked, she asked about his plans before exams.
Wang Shishi finally took the bait and asked what he wanted.
He looked indifferent, except chasing a certain girl, which made her heart race instantly.
She was totally convinced. This girl honestly believed he played hard to get because she was too easy. She asked what she was like. He would never meet anyone better than her in this entire lifetime. Only Chu Weiwei mattered to him now. She was his ultimate gentle goddess who made his entire life meaningful.
Wang Shishi blushed red immediately.
Honestly, her delusion is next level as she planned to dump her other simps. Keeping only him, she asked how that would work before the exams.
What if the girl prefers focusing on her studies over dating?
She actually wants to be with him, but there is just no time right now. Having fun is fine, but getting emotionally invested could totally ruin her grades.
That would be a disaster, she thinks, stealing a glance at a sharp profile.
Her heart flutters, but he calmly says he will help her study for the same college. No matter what, he is not letting go, his voice dripping with absolute determination. Having a second chance at life, our MC swears never to let Weiwei face the storm alone. Hearing him vow to stand by her side, Wang Shishi's heart beats faster and faster. But what if her family objects, she asks, as Chu Weiwei's tragic background flashes in his mind. He refuses to let Weiwei carry that burden, saying she only needs to focus on loving him. He will handle the rest, leaving Wang Shishi's mind in an absolute tangled mess. Her racing heart completely distracts her, failing to notice he has already stood up and left. She sits there dazed for a while before finally gathering up her courage. Biting her lip gently, it seems she has just made a major life decision.
She looks up solemnly and says, "Mu Feng, I have seriously thought about this."
I am sorry, but after the college entrance exams are over, if you still want to... Before she can finish, someone in the cafeteria shouts out Mu Feng's name loudly. They ask if all that food is for his girl, while Wang Shishi remains totally clueless. She quickly stands up, only to see him carrying a massive plate piled high with food. As he walks in her direction, she instinctively reaches out her hands to take the plate. A warm feeling washes over her, thinking he always acts tough, but secretly cares. Look at all these delicious dishes he got, she thinks. He really does care deep down. There is shrimp, meat, and fresh greens, literally every single one of her favorite foods. But the moment Wang Shishi reaches out, our boy instantly dodges her with a clean sidestep. He snaps at her, asking why she is reaching for the food he got for Weiwei. Wang Shishi is completely dumbfounded by his reaction. Her brain is fully short-circuiting.
She is frozen on the spot, her hands still awkwardly hovering in midair.
Then she sees him enthusiastically waving at another girl, calling her to come over. Wang Shishi stands there in sheer disbelief, her entire world completely shattered. If she is the girlfriend, then who on earth am I? Where am I and what is happening, she wonders, while the surrounding crowd starts staring. The cafeteria is still packed, and tons of students are now watching the drama unfold. Everyone starts whispering, asking if that isn't the popular girl, Wang Shishi from class 6. They laugh at how her hand is still frozen in mid-air, wondering what is happening. He brought food over, she thought it was for her, and she got completely rejected.
She reached for the plate, but the guy literally dodged her like he had cheat codes.
Honestly, this is too funny. How can someone face an embarrassment this legendary?
I would literally curl my toes to death if I were her. It is so painful.
She definitely did not expect a public rejection, and her bestie, Song Huahua, cannot watch anymore. Song Huahua quickly grabs Wang Shishi's arm and glares daggers at him. She tells Mu Feng to stop playing these cheap games just to get Shishi's attention.
She calls his move childish and tells Shishi they are leaving right now.
Muttering that no man can be trusted and that they are all completely useless. Wang Shishi remains totally dazed while Song Huahua drags her away in a huff. But absolutely nobody pays attention to them, leaving the entire atmosphere painfully awkward. Song Huahua quickly drags Wang Shishi away while she is busy questioning her entire existence. If they do not leave now, they will literally die of embarrassment. Our guy just gives them a cold look, completely ignoring them. Ironically, the same girls who complain that guys are useless, claiming pigs would climb trees first, are actually the ones
who are always plotting to exploit guys for easy benefits.
They will even lower themselves for handouts. Meanwhile, Chu Weiwei sees our guy waving. Her face lights up, and she instantly jogs over the second he calls.
Low-key terrified of getting scolded if she takes too long. Flashback time.
Chu Weiwei has seen him throw hands before, especially that crazy fight back in sophomore year. She was in the North Alley buying frostbite cream and was just about to head back.
Right then, a group of local punks strolled up, spotting her looking completely defenseless.
They immediately start jeering, asking who was brave enough to mess with a braided girl. A rookie blonde punk named Huang Mao decides to show off by cornering her. He gets handsy right away, teasing her to come hang out with them. But as he gets closer, he suddenly realizes something. Chu Weiwei is incredibly pure and beautiful, which immediately triggers his worst instincts. He tells her she is gorgeous and tries to force a hug on her. The rest of the gang closes in, shouting all kinds of trash. Chu Weiwei keeps backing up in fear, but the blonde punk gets handsy again. Luckily, our guy and their teacher, Mr. Xu, pull up just in time. The teacher yells out, demanding to know what class they are in. Honestly, trying to lecture street punks about school grades was a terrible move. Instead of backing down, Huang Mao literally slaps the teacher right across the face. Yeah, real life is not like the movies. Seeing this, our guy snaps. He charges in and absolutely folds them, going full beast mode with every strike. The whole alley explodes, and the teacher is just holding his face in shock. Our guy grabs Chu Weiwei and runs, cementing his reputation as an absolute legend. He put 5 punks in the hospital while not taking a single scratch. Built different.
Back to the present, Chu Weiwei is running with her head down, completely distracted. She does not see him step in front of her and crashes straight into his chest. Ouch! She rubs her forehead, her heart instantly sinking.
She thinks she is in deep trouble and immediately stammers out an apology. Being this close, she can actually smell the subtle, clean scent on him. Our guy jokes that if apologies worked, we would not need the police. She panics, clutching her clothes and pleading that it was an accident as he leans in. Her cute face looks so scared and adorable as she nervously stares up at him. He finds her reaction pretty hilarious. Who would guess the shy girl is a future powerhouse? She is literally going to become a legendary boss woman. Talk about character growth.
Shaking off those thoughts, he calmly tells her she has to buy him lunch.
Silly Chu Weiwei obediently agrees and sits across from him. Thanking him warmly, she says she is super grateful for his tutoring. Our girl insists on paying, but he just slides a fully loaded tray over. We are talking shrimp, braised pork, chicken, and fresh veggies. All this for 10 yuan. Back in 2009, that was pure luxury. Chu Weiwei gently shakes her head, pushing his tray a bit further away. Don't worry, she quietly pulls out a metal lunchbox, setting it down without making a single sound. No need, I brought my own. But what is she eating? She opens it. Just plain rice and watery boiled cabbage. 0 oil. She is already way too skinny. At 169 centimeters, she is barely 90 jin. This is a recipe for malnutrition. Her face is completely pale. How is she supposed to study and work like this? Plain cabbage and rice will not cut it during a growth spurt. Our boy feels a sharp pang in his chest watching this. Suddenly, he slams his chopsticks on the table, glaring coldly. Do you not want to be partners? His sudden anger completely panics her. Her face flushes instantly as her nose twinges with pain. Tears well up instantly, her hands shaking as she grips the lunchbox. I really did not mean that. I really did not.
The tears cling to her lashes before quietly spilling down.
Honestly, this art style is gorgeous. She looks so pretty crying. I never thought of that, she whispers, looking down. He usually lectures her, but this time, his heart just breaks. Unable to resist, he gently pinches her soft cheek. She does not even try to hide. Just looks straight up at him, her eyes completely watery. She looks so dazed, he pinches a bit harder, leaving a faint mark on her soft skin. Why did she not dodge? Was she scared? I swear, this female lead is literally the cutest. If you want to stay partners, why are you eating like this? The teacher literally said if we do not make the top 10,
We are getting split up, and I will be sent to the back.
How can you study properly on an empty stomach?
you think you can pass finals like this? Tell me. Chu Weiwei nods, but seeing his glare, she quickly shakes her head. From now on, I am taking care of all your meals. Quit the cafeteria job, you are my private tutor now. $100 an hour until finals are over. Any objections?
She nods, then quickly shakes her head, too scared to argue.
Can I make a tiny suggestion? She asks softly.
Our main character acts all chill, saying he is totally open to feedback.
But she just waves her hands in panic. I do not mind, but can you lower the pay?
She raises a finger.
Is $1 an hour okay?
Absolutely not, he says, making her pout dejectedly. Can I at least finish my last shift at the cafeteria? Fine. Now eat, he orders. She quickly digs in.
He reaches out and grabs Chu Weiwei's cheap lunch tray, sliding his own right in front of her. Today we are swapping lunches. Is eating plain, watery cabbage every single day really that good?
He grabs her chopsticks and without even hesitating for a second, shoves the boiled cabbage and rice into his mouth, and honestly, it is completely tasteless. There is not even a pinch of salt, making Chu Weiwei's face instantly turn bright red. Mu Feng is literally using her chopsticks. Like, is this not basically an indirect kiss? He is totally teasing her, leaving Chu Weiwei looking super pouty and flustered.
She takes tiny bites of rice but refuses to touch his meat, a silent protest he spots instantly.
Why are you not eating the meat, he asks. You need the protein. As Chu Weiwei keeps pouting, Mu Feng picks up a piece of juicy braised pork. When he brings it to her lips, she tries to protest and says she is fine.
Just open up and stop complaining, he says, making her eyes well up with tears again.
Her tiny red lips obediently part for him to feed her, thinking he is bullying her again.
It is so embarrassing with everyone watching, but down goes the delicious braised pork.
She is low-key annoyed by his bossy attitude, but the rich meat flavor is just too good. That big piece of pork instantly stuffs her mouth, puffing her cheeks out completely.
She looks like a cute little frog chewing with her tiny, adorable mouth.
Pair that with her pouting face, and honestly, she is just too precious for this world.
When she asks what happens to the leftovers, Mu Feng just gives a smug little smirk.
Just throw them away, he shrugs, making her tear up at the sheer waste of it. How could he even say that about such good food? So in the end, she gives in. Poor Chu Weiwei has no choice but to eat all 3 massive meat dishes while crying, her appetite completely betraying her. She destroys the braised pork and mixes the rich sauce with her rice to finish every bit. She cleans the chicken bones, and Mu Feng even peels the shrimp for her. Otherwise, she would hate to waste a single bite. Back in 2009, times were different. Having meat for lunch was a rare luxury, so this was an absolute feast for her.
After devouring everything, some healthy color finally returns to Chu Weiwei's pale face.
Proper nutrition hits different, and if a girl wants glowing skin, she definitely needs real food.
Eating well is the ultimate cheat code for a healthy glow. Now, cutting to the school playground? What is Mu Feng's deal? He clearly likes you, but acts like this just to annoy you.
Song Huahua and Wang Shishi are sitting on the playground bleachers, with Huahua totally fuming over Mu Feng's ridiculous actions. I do not get it either, she says. Maybe he heard other guys are pursuing me?
Maybe he is just trying to get my attention, Wang Shishi mutters, looking completely miserable.
The lunchroom drama really shook her up, especially since Mu Feng looked at her with pure ice. He completely ignored her existence, but his eyes never left Chu Weiwei for a single second.
She is seriously starting to fear that he actually likes Chu Weiwei, which is a reality she absolutely cannot accept.
Honestly, it is her own fault for playing the proud, unreachable princess card for so long while he chased her. But now that he treats her like air, she is losing her mind and throwing a tantrum. This is the classic trope where someone only cares once they have already lost. Once a simp finally wakes up and stops caring, the tables turn completely. When you chase them, they ignore you, but walk away and they start crying for attention. Mu Feng has her completely figured out. Meanwhile, who is that girl in the cheap uniform? Her name is Chu Weiwei, and judging by those worn-out clothes, her family is pretty poor.
She is probably not even that pretty, so why on earth is someone like Mu Feng chasing after a girl like that?
There is no way she can compete with you, Shishi. She is not even on your level. Wang Shishi pouts her lips, feeling more and more depressed by the second. Song Huahua tells her that Mu Feng is clearly blind, comforting her to stop stressing over him. She says Shishi is gorgeous and smart, with tons of handsome guys waiting for her in college. With her looks and brains, she can easily get any type of boyfriend she wants. Honestly, she is so right. Why waste precious youth on some hyped-up guy from a regular class? Suddenly, Song Huahua stands up and looks dramatically up at the sky at a 45-degree angle. She declares with absolute certainty that dating right now is just a massive distraction from their studies. Once the college entrance exams are over, their lives will completely drift apart anyway. She predicts Shishi will go to a top-tier university, get her master's, or even study abroad. She will become a high-flying elite, while Mu Feng and that other girl just ruin their grades. They will end up at some third-rate college, and that girl will eventually get dumped. Without a proper degree, Mu Feng will end up working a dead-end factory job with zero future. Song Huahua dramatically switches gears, raising her short hand high toward the sky like an anime protagonist. Brimming with hype, she loudly declares that by then, Shishi will become the ultimate. Ungettable dream girl Mu Feng will spend his entire life regretting he ever let go. Hearing this passionate speech, Wang Shishi gets totally hyped up to become his unreachable dream girl. Imagining him full of regret, Wang Shishi clenches her fists and agrees that Huahua is absolutely right. But she does not want to wait years. She plans to make them crash and burn this final exam. Who waits 10 years for payback anyway? Girls do not play the long game. She wants immediate revenge, making Song Huahua's eyes light up as she asks what the plan is. Wang Shishi lets out a smug smile, slowly asking Huahua if she knows the best way to teach a toxic guy a lesson, while Huahua just cluelessly shakes her head. Shishi explains that the most brutal way to humiliate a guy like him is to find an even more overpowered guy and stand right in front of him in public. That will completely destroy his ego.